Hi all, I will walk you over SAP assignment 6 on forecasting. Okay, so download your assignment from here. So in this assignment, we will talk about Global Bike, which distributes high quality bicycles and accessories in Germany and the United States. To aid in budgeting and planning, GBI analysts produce monthly revenue forecasts. You have recently joined the company as a new analyst. As one of your initial tasks, you have been asked to prepare overall revenue forecast for the next year, which is in this database 2012. Sales revenue is reported in local currency, which is either euros or US dollars, while the overall revenue forecasts are made in euros. Further, your forecasting results should be saved in SAP HANA in order to be available for budgeting, planning, and reporting. Sales data are currently stored in a table in the SAP HANA database, and let's have a look into that. So look at the table structure. So you have columns in the table which are named as year, month, day, customer number, order item, product, sales quantity, unit of measure, revenue, currency, and discount. And the table data is also shown in the right hand side. Now the SAP HANA data modeling team has created an analytic view on the sales data table for your use in forecasting monthly revenues in euros. Okay, so this is where it shows the year, month, and the revenue in euros. Okay, so a senior analyst indicated triple exponential smoothing has previously been the method used for GBI revenue forecasting, and the triple exponential smoothing can be useful when the values being forecast evidence seasonality. Since GBI sells bicycles and related accessories, you would expect seasonality in sales, but you plan to use data visualization to investigate its presence. So we have to log on to predictive analytics as before. Okay, from here, go to Expert Analytics. Go to Expert Analytics again. Okay, so now you click on New Document, log on to SAP HANA. So I go to Next. Now use your server information which is given to you in the assignment and also in your login information. So what is that information for you? That is Trinity COB CSU Chico EDU, and please note your port number which is 30050. I am using a different port number. Do not use my port number. You use 30050. Okay. So our server is the same. Using your own login ID and password and your port number, you log into the dataset. Okay. Now we will search for the demo GBI demo revenue forecast AV. Okay, this is the one that we should be using. Find that, say create. Okay, now you will start by visualizing the data as you are interested in graphing revenues to see if there is any evidence of seasonality. In order to do that, you have to be in the Visualize tab, and so what we will do is we will select the line graph, the line chart, okay, and we will select revenue euros for the y-axis, okay, and both year and month for the x-axis. Both year and month for the x-axis. Okay. So now you have to provide answers to the questions asked and support your answer always with screenshot. Is there evidence of seasonality in sales revenue? We can very well see that there are peaks and then there are downfall in the sale throughout the data for every 5 years. So you can see that, look at it, month 12 it's down and month of June it's up. So of course there is seasonality in the data. What is the pattern of sales? So basically you can say that every June during summer the sale increases and drops during December over a period of 5 years. Okay. So the next one is you have to configure and run the algorithm. So the algorithm that we are choosing is triple exponential smoothing algorithm, right? So in order to do that, what we will do is we will go to predict. Then from algorithm, we will go down and choose from time series, we will choose triple exponential smoothing. And then click on the cogwheel, configure settings. For configuring settings, what we will do is output is forecast. Okay. Periods is 12 for yearly we are doing. Target variable is revenues. Okay. Period is for 12 month. And start period is 1, start year is 2007. From the data you can see the start year is 2007. Predicted column name we will do is forecast. Predicted column name we will call it forecast revenue euros. Okay, the forecast is in always euros. Year values is forecast year. And month values is forecast month. Okay, then we are, after that we click on to the advanced tab, and here we check the behavior criteria. Now alpha, beta and gamma are the smoothing constants for data, trend and seasonal change. Each is between 0 and 1. A constant which is closer to 1 places more weight on recent observations. So default values have already been entered and you will leave it at their default levels. Okay. So after this you just click done. Then we will add the HANA writer to the pane and then we will go to configure settings. Schema name will be GBI underscore 132 is for me because 132 is my number. You choose your number. And then the table name is forecast underscore your login number. Mine is 132, so don't use mine, you use your own. And then since I have practiced before, I said overwrite if exists. You don't have to do that. And now we run the analysis. Just say okay. Okay, so this is the result. So the algorithm assumes that the data are in chronological order. When you view the results, make sure the forecast month and month as well as forecast year and year are properly aligned in the table. So you can see that forecast year and month, forecast month and year. So they are properly aligned. So you don't have to worry about that. Now check the results, review your table, then answer the following questions in a Word document. Do the results appear to be aligned chronologically? Yes. Do the forecast values appear to fit the historical data reasonably well? Support your answers with a screenshot. So look into the values here. I think we can say that better once we have the chart in front of us, but looks like this column actually, if you look at it here, this is 894205.41, this is 892668.66. So this is pretty similar. So 15514567.2 and 1566559.03. So the result looks pretty similar, but we can be more sure if we look into the chart. Okay. So what we will do is we will now use the trend chart to check the apparent reasonability of the forecast values. So let's go to the chart. Before that, let me click on summary once and see what's happening here. Okay, let's go to trend chart. Okay, so look at here, it shows the blue one is the revenue and the green one is the forecasted value. So how many years of forecast revenue are shown in the trend chart? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 years, and actually it shows about 2012. 2012 is the actual forecasted value on the basis of the past years, right? Do you see any predictions that were noticeably different than between the actual and the predictive values? Okay, so the first question was going back that how many years of forecast revenue, so it's 5 years. Okay, and then do you see any predictions that were noticeably different between the actual and the predicted values? So if you look at here, 2008, this is the forecast value, right? The green one, and then this is the actual value. Similarly, this one, actual value, this is the forecast value. This is the actual value here, and then this is the forecast value. So I would say that yes, there were some difference between the actual and the predicted values over several years. Okay. At this point, you save your document. And by the way, every time you answer a question, you support your document with a screenshot. We need to see that you have done the work. So click the grid icon to return to the data grid. You will now save your analysis using File, Save As. So you go here, File, do Save As. Okay. Save on local and enter the name of the file as forecast, then your login ID, and then save. Okay. Now, in order to visualize the saved forecasting data, what you can do is you can follow the first 3 saved steps but select your forecast table instead of the analytic view in step 1.3. So what we can do is we can go to File. Actually, let's see. So we can come here, Expert Analytics. Let me just close it, okay? Let me just close this page. Go to Expert Analytics. Let it come up. I want to visualize the file that I stored. Okay. So now here, new document, I connect to SAP HANA. Next, I go to my server, put in my port number, connect. Okay, so I will look for forecast 132. You look for your own file, okay? So I can see my forecast 132 file. So I pull it up, I create. And it pulls up my own file, okay? Now what I will do is I will now in the visualize tab, I would now load data into my for visualization. So at this point I have to create measures. In order to create measures, what I will do is I will click on revenue forecast. Let me see what I have. I have forecast month, forecast year, month, then okay. So I will go over forecast revenue, this one, okay, and then I create a measure. Also, I will go over revenue euro and I will create a measure. this forecast revenue file actually should be underscore your login number. Okay, so it's just I can just rename. I made a mistake here, so I think you have the right file. So let me just rename it to forecast revenue and then 132. So this one, forecast revenue 132, I will again add it as a measure. Okay. So now I need to create the visualization. So I will, within measures, I will just draw the revenue forecast and the revenue euros. Okay. This is going to be my measure. And then forecast year and forecast month I will be adding to the rows. So that would basically be forecast year and forecast month. So the results should match the exponential smoothing results of that we have created in the previous work. Okay, so this is pretty similar. So take a screenshot of this and paste it in your Word document, and that finishes your assignment 6. Thank you.